Hey, Maria again with another video. Just wanted to let you know, or just kind of post my status on my job search. So today I went to 2 interviews at 2 employment agencies. The first one is new. I didn't even know that this particular place was in town. And I'm not going to mention names, but she seemed very professional. I'm not sure what to expect. She seemed accommodating. She seemed sincere. I never really know until after a few days, but I'm keeping my eye on her. She seems very nice, but I don't know. I'm hoping that this nonsense is clearing up. I have tried to get important people involved, and I'm trying to let people know that this is a very serious issue, and it's one that I'm concerned about. The second one, I had submitted my resume to the same company that created a lot of the issues that I'm experiencing right now. And, initially, the girl who I initially came in contact with, who started emailing me and encouraged me to come in for an interview, I had never heard of her before. So I'm assuming she's fairly new to the company. So I went into the interview with her, and she seemed fairly nice. And then she introduced me to her partner, who I had already met when I was placed at the other job that I had mentioned before. So once they realized who I was, they seemed a little startled. And initially, they had their little interview questions all prepared to give me for this particular position that I was applying for. And then when they realized who I was, suddenly they didn't want to conduct the interview anymore, and they had, politely told me that the position was filled. And I had expressed my concerns because the person who originally started this whole rumor about me being Muslim worked at that job. And I was hoping that I could start a new relationship with them. I'm trying to rebuild my life after being, smeared and basically blacklisted. And I was hoping to, regain my relationship with this particular company. And I let them know that, because, I'm trying to find that, or trying to look for signs that this nonsense is clearing up. Obviously I didn't do anything wrong, and I deserve the respect because I have, kept the greater good in mind, okay? So, I'm trying to let them know, hey, look, I need help on my job search, okay? I am, way behind in getting a job. This has gone on, far too long, and I need assistance. And so the girl who I had met before, she just kept staring at me. She kept staring at me, and the other lady who, the blonde lady, she was, just kind of looking at me like, she seemed startled, And my point is that, it really bothers me that, I worked my butt off, okay? And I would have never created this kind of error. I would have never slandered somebody and blacklisted them and made it so that they couldn't find a job. But this same person who did this is no longer with that company, but has moved on to another position. Now, this is shocking to me because, what does that say for people who are innocent? What does that say for people who really put in the effort? And so I'm desperately trying to look for work. I'm desperately trying to find help and assistance. And I'm dealing with, people who just want to keep the game going. And that's very frustrating. I'm trying everything I can to just move on. And then when I see signs of, this job interview is like, I'm not going to give you the interview after all, or she's going to tell me that the position's filled after I arrive there. It's like it's like them holding a grudge for nothing. Or maybe they're just racist. I don't know. I don't like to think that. I don't. That's the last thing I like to assume. But when somebody does you wrong, it seems as though that a company would try to make a special effort for you to build faith and trust in that company again, especially when they treat it. What happened to me was a very serious issue, and it's very serious. I'm suffering for it right now. So to see that these people aren't really cooperating, and to find out that this woman who basically slandered me, and it is slander, is working in another job. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I would never create such an issue like that. I would never put a company in jeopardy like that. I'm somebody who really cares about what they do, and I'm sitting in this position, and it's horrible. And so many other people are as well. So I don't want to let that little experience ruin my day, and I'm trying to be very optimistic because I just want to get a job and move on. I mean, how hard is it? Why should it be that hard? I mean, I'm proving to everybody right now. This whole situation that's going on, I'm proving my skills. I'm telling you, I'm letting you guys know about the law. Okay, I've taken an accounting test just about every place in this town. I know how to do my job. How hard is it? And, I do think that there's too much emphasis on networking. And the networking that people are doing really isn't constructive. It's more like, let me bring all my friends on board. Let me be around this group so I can feel emotionally fulfilled. And I feel as though a lot of employers aren't really looking at skills. They're really not looking at people's ability to do their job, proven ability to do their job. And I have proven it over and over and over again. And so some people might think, well, you just need to be patient. Well, it's hard to be patient when you're doing everything you can to move on, and you still have people who want to hold a grudge. Or just seem like, they are unwilling to work with you just because they want to keep a game going. I'm not interested in keeping a game going. When I first walked through that door, I walked through that door this afternoon with all the good intentions, just to find a job, just to move on, whatever. But it didn't turn out that way. And, why is it? Why does it have to be that way? I mean, do business owners look at these employees? I mean, does this make any difference to business owners? Are these people thinking that they've hired ideal candidates when these people have made blunders that are so, to me, severe? This is a very serious issue. When you hire somebody in a human resource position, or somebody who hires people, you hire them, especially when they're making a great effort. They're putting standards on there. Like they're saying, you have to have a bachelor's degree, because they're assuming that these people are very qualified, that they know the laws, they know everything about business, they know everything about hiring somebody, terminating somebody, evaluating their performance, so on and so forth. And yet, when they show and demonstrate that they don't know, and they create all these issues, they suffer no consequence for it, and yet people like me get accused of being a religion that I'm not even a part of, or any other sort of rumor. I end up getting discharged for reasons that are illegal. Go figure. But these videos are helping me, and if you understand what post-traumatic stress disorder is and how traumatizing it is, then you would realize that this is a form of therapy for me, really. I know I talk to Joel a lot about what's going on and the stress that I'm going through, and my efforts to find a job. I'm like looking everywhere I possibly can, and I'd rather not move. Like I can't afford to move. These people have forced me in a very bad state, and it's very difficult because, like I said, I've done everything I could to move on, and when you experience this, it's quite shocking. It really is. I don't feel as though I have anything else to prove. I mean, I am 100% innocent. Like I said, the only thing that I'm guilty of is basically lying about my race. Now, that's an issue that relates to me and my husband. Anything that relates to me and my husband has nothing to do with the workplace. It has nothing to do with that. So that was a long, long time ago. And when it comes to my job, I'm very serious. I'm a hard worker. And I don't like to, I'm sitting here on the countertop. I don't like to, dwell on things. I don't like to go overboard or stress on issues that much, but it's very hard because it's been such a long time, and it's, I'm being sabotaged by rumors, or maybe it could very well be racism, and if it's racism, that's a very serious issue because I can't change my race, okay? I obviously know my job, but I can't change my race. Can't do that, Don't want to do that. It is what it is, I don't know what else to tell you. But I'm doing everything I can, I need to get back to work, and I'm just frustrated, just blowing off steam. Now, during my first interview this morning, I was explaining to this lady, she was asking, why did you leave your previous employer? And I basically said I was wanting to go into another professional environment, more professional environment. And then she gave me an alternative, which I did appreciate her feedback. She said, well, why don't you just say that, you decided to move on? Or, you just wanted a different change of scenery. Now, at first I kept thinking, well, maybe. But as I got in my car, I kept thinking, you know what? It's very difficult because this is the sort of thing that I would never want to happen. I mean, and it shouldn't happen, okay? But when I think about an explanation like that, it's not that I don't think it's a good explanation. It, to me, might come off to an employer that you might be willy-nilly. You might be, well, I just didn't, I just needed to get out of there. I just wanted to change the scene. Like, I'm flippant. Like, I can't be stable. I can be very stable, okay? But I can't be gang-stalked. I can't be mobbed at work. I need to be in an environment that is, professional. Or, I'm not expecting people to, walk on eggshells around me. That's not what I'm asking. But what I've experienced in my jobs are just very severe. It's severe. And especially not knowing exactly where it's coming from and, having employers do and say things, you can't help but be traumatized. And then turn it around and have the community involved in it is even more devastating. I can't express the devastation. And knowing that I'm not being looked at and appreciated for my skills when I'm looking at somebody else who made a serious blunder and demonstrated to everybody that she doesn't have the qualifications that she really says she does, get a new job, I'm just like, whoa, I'm like kind of blown away. Now, when it comes to, human resource jobs and stuff, or jobs that relate to employment, I'm not bashing anybody, okay? But when you really get down to it, it's a lot of paperwork, okay? It's a lot of new hire paperwork, W-2s, I-9, so on and so forth, applications reviewing, constantly making calls, reference, whatever, okay? But anybody can do that. So a lot of employers think, well, I'm going to make sure I find the best person. I want to make sure I find somebody who's highly skilled at what they do. So they think that by hiring somebody who has a 4-year degree in this issue or these subjects is what is going to get them what they want. And unfortunately, in this situation, I can see, and I'm really looking at the situation, that this is not true. Okay, it's not true. I'm not bashing 4-year college because I don't have a 4-year degree. That's not my point. It's not my point. But my point is that if you don't really apply what you learn in your course of learning, it is of no value to you. And there's a lot of people who graduate college who are just as ignorant as the day that they went in. And that's my point. I am not bashing formalized education at all. I'm just saying is that there's a lot of people who really don't benefit from it. So, like, for example, if a kid is in 5th grade or something, I don't know, and they learn fractions, okay? Well, they might pass the test, and they could either forget about it or they could start utilizing it. Maybe the dad might say, hey, son, let's go work on a project together. Let's build a house, a dog house or something. So the kid's now using measurements. So he's starting to work with these things. Or the mom might say to the daughter, I'm not trying to be sexist, okay, but I'm just coming up with these little ideas, okay? Hey, let's work on a sewing project together. So the daughter starts learning her measurements, and it starts to reinforce what she's learned. She's incorporating it into her life. And unfortunately, a lot of people really haven't done that. And when it comes to jobs relating to employment and whatnot, a lot of it is just forms, okay? A lot of it, which means that if that's the case, anybody can do that job. So what a person who's hiring somebody, they're looking for somebody who's qualified, who's skilled, who knows how to handle very tricky situations, okay? That's what they're looking for. Somebody who's well-rounded in the business world, okay? Unfortunately, just because you have a 4-year degree does not prove that to be true. It just doesn't. And, there's a lot of feelings of disillusionment when it comes to this situation because I can't believe that somebody who would put the company that they work for in jeopardy of a lawsuit and commit slander, racial slander, it's racial. To me, it's a racial slur. Or it's it is racist. To accuse somebody of being Muslim just because they're black, I wouldn't, is it racist or more prejudice? It's racist when you try to, the difference between racism and prejudice. Prejudice is to prejudge somebody. It's to say, well, you're black, so therefore you like fried chicken and watermelon, okay? You're making assumptions about a person that may not be true. Okay? Racist is when you basically use that information to prevent somebody from doing something, to subjugate, to bind, or limit the actions of another individual. That is racism. I'm without a job, okay? Now, it could be based on my race, and it could be based on their warped version of Christianity. Hopefully, the scriptures that I gave you is enough to prove the fact that this is all BS, okay? I mean, this has nothing to do with true Christianity at all. It's all about a cult basically wanting to win a game. Like I said, I'm not interested in winning a game. I'm really not. Like I said, if I became a millionaire overnight, I highly doubt that I'd want to encounter any of the people who's done this to me. I don't want to see them. I don't want to talk to them. I just want to move on, okay? I'm not going to sit here and try to wave it in their face or try to say, hey, look at me, I beat you. I'm not interested in doing anything like that. I simply just want to get a job, okay? I just want to go back to work. And it's been extremely a very, very, very long time. It has been a long time, and I don't understand it. I really don't. I do to a certain degree, but when I think about it, it's extremely disturbing to me. It's more than disturbing to me. Dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder, I was dealing with it when I left the first company. And then going to each job interview for no apparent reason and having these people look at you like they're brainwashed, like they're mind-controlled slaves, is even more intense than you can even imagine. It is terrifying, okay? I'm doing everything I can to find a job. I'm doing everything I can to be respectful. And the person who slandered me, I'm not naming names, okay? I've tried very hard, okay? Try very hard to keep the greater good in mind. I'm sure a lot of people probably know who it is anyway. But my point is, what was done to me is minimal. I mean, compared to what I'm doing right now, is minimal to what this person has done to me. And I feel as though I need to make have a voice. I need to be able to say something. And I'm not the kind of person who's in people's face. I guess I am a one-woman advocate because I'm the only person I can really trust to look out for myself, to stand up for myself. And I think this is a situation that's gone on way too long. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't even really know what was going on when this whole thing started. I really didn't. I mean, I knew that something was going on, but who was involved, I really didn't know. And I just started putting things together, and it is very, very disturbing. And it's a very serious issue. And, I'm thinking about homeless people here and other places, and I keep thinking, because I hear a lot of people, like, since I actually moved here, I have overheard a lot of conversations by managers or like maybe a second place managers of a department or whatever, and, they let their egos get out of control. And I really do think that there's a lot of people who think that exiling people from communities or making them shunned or whatever is in some way an executive decision or something that they're supposed to do. I really do think that there's a lot of people who live in ignorance and that there's a lot of people who are out on the streets because of it. And that's a serious concern because, don't get me wrong, like I said, there's a lot of slothful people out there who probably deserve it, okay? There's probably a lot of people who never lifted a finger to do doodly squat in their entire life, okay? I'm not doubting that, okay? But there are a lot of people out there that I think are victims of what I call administrative ignorance or professional ignorance or somebody who just a victim of the system. Of people who don't fully understand that confidentiality is key. It protects the employer and it protects the employee. It doesn't matter if you don't like that person. It's about, okay, we want to get back to morals or bringing back a doctrinal issue or Christianity, for example. You do unto others as you wish for others to do unto you. Would you like it if somebody slandered your name? Would you like it if you left a company and you had a small issue with the person and they just made it into a big issue? You know what I mean? Like, for example, somebody didn't like your shoes, okay? And they started, I'm serious. I have been to companies in this whole situation where people have manipulated my employment, And I went to this one event planning place, and I can't believe the little petty arguments that were started over stupid stuff. I didn't participate in any of it. I let them go on and on and on and on. I just focused on my work. I wasn't going to be a part of any of it. But a lot of these people were like, bickering about my shoes. Now, mind you, this is a place where animals ran wild, okay? Like, they had a dog in there. I think they had 2 dogs. Yeah, they had 2 dogs, a bird running around, and people are picking at my clothes. You're lucky I don't come to work in a dirty T-shirt and a pair of shorts, okay? And yet people are pick. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. But this is the sort of stuff. It has nothing to do with the fact that you come in on time. It has nothing to do with the fact that you strive for accuracy. It doesn't have anything to do with the fact that, you value other people's time and you're considerate, and so you try to do everything you can, and you make your deadlines. You make deadlines, okay, and you complete work when it's asked of you, and you do everything by the book. But that doesn't matter, because what does matter is you need to order your clothes from Hot Look. You need to stop making your own clothes. Order some clothes from Hot Look. What? I mean, that's so ridiculous. But those are the things that I've encountered. So unfortunately, I don't know what to say. But I am keeping a little accurate record of my job search, and this is a part of it, as well as talking about the gang stalking. I will be changing my phone number very soon. As soon as I get back to work, if and when I do get back to work, I am going to be changing my phone number. I shut down my LinkedIn account. I believe that a lot of the people there, and they may be well-intentioned, okay, but I experienced trauma. I don't know if you realize what that means, or post-traumatic stress disorder. I don't know if people really know what that means. I really don't, because people seem to be like, they don't understand. It's almost like the same thing that a Vietnam vet experiences. And some people would think, well, you know what, that's a little exaggerating. That's exaggerating because, these people experienced so much. And you're absolutely right, they did, okay? The difference between a Vietnam vet was whether or not they were enlisted on their own or they were somewhat drafted into that situation. They eventually come to terms with the fact that they're going to see a lot of blood, a lot of gore, a lot of people getting killed, and they may not come back all in one piece, or they may not come back at all, But at some point, they're prepared to deal with that. Now, for myself, I'm sitting here going to work every day. I don't expect people to sit here and bash me with racial slurs, basically calling me the N-word and preventing me from employment. That is a form of psychological trauma and abuse is what it is. And I'm going to tell you there's a lot of people in this community who has done this to me for reasons that I believe are racially motivated. I mean, what other reason would it be for? Like I said, I'm not interested in fighting. I just want to get on with my life. And for other employment agencies who basically wanted to play a game, there was another one who was supposed to be a equal opportunity employer, okay? She flat out told me that she didn't want me calling her or anything, even though she knows I'm right. Now, she knows I'm right. She knows I have every right to express my feelings. She knows good and well that what she did was illegal. Okay, and I could go on and on about the story because it's actually kind of funny. I mean, she basically admitted that she was in the wrong when she called me. But my point is that, you know what, if you look at an applicant and you know that they're a good, qualified candidate, and they have all the skills, why can't you take that into consideration? I mean, that's like, don't get that. I really just don't get it. I don't have any issues with anyone here in this town. I don't know anybody in this town. I really don't. I don't know anyone in this town. I mean, I basically have gone to work every time I had a job, went to work, came home. Any of the relationships that I used to have, and here's the part that I wanted to make clear. Because I have dealt with the post-traumatic stress disorder, and I do find it extremely traumatizing that I have been treated the way that I have, it's important for me to move on, okay? So if I severed ties with people that I had a relationship, a small relationship, and I'm going to say somewhat insignificant, because a lot of people that I connected with me on my old LinkedIn page, I never met in person. I think they probably just heard about me and connected with me. It's not that I don't appreciate their support. Some of these people endorse me for skills. I appreciate that, okay? I do, okay? But I have to move on to heal. It's a part of the healing process. I need to move on, okay? I don't want to see any more reminders of what happened. And when I go to job interviews and I'm dealing with people who want to keep a game going, it's like, look, you know, and I can see why they're going. They're either doing it for racial reasons or doing it because they want to play a game. And the reason why I say racial issues is because, you know, when you throw out me being Muslim when you know it's not true, and people grasp for that, and you're holding it against me, that's racism, okay? It is, okay? So I just really want to move on. Okay, so I got like about 2 minutes. I can't believe I've actually been talking this long, but I'm going to kind of make a post of all my job interview experiences. The first place, I thought she was very nice. She seemed professional. I mean, she did ask questions that I thought were reasonable and professional and were pertinent to actually getting a job. That I will say. I don't know. Will I develop a relationship with her or not? We'll see. You know, I need to develop a business relationship. I don't see why she shouldn't be considered, but we'll see. You know, hopefully I can trust her. I got to trust somebody in this job search. Otherwise, you know, I'm going to be stagnant forever. And there's got to be somebody who can help me because I have tried everything I could. I've contacted as many people as I could, and the ball needs to be rolling. It really does. It doesn't need to keep going on and on and on. These videos are extremely therapeutic for me, and so I hope that you realize and see the value of me doing it. It looks like I'm running out of time. I'm going to wrap this video up. I will be around shortly for another video. I don't want to continue on with my independent job search because it is exhausting, and I'm dealing with people who might be gatekeepers. So it's really important that I need to be able to be a part of the regular employment sector to apply for jobs that I see posted and be able to work with an agency because I need the help. And I can't tell you that there's no one, I'm not saying I'm the most qualified person in the world, but you know what? Employers can feel safe and confident with me. So take care. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.